All right, let's take a look at the error. It says here, no route matches, action about, controller static pages. By the way, this exact error message might change. Rails sometimes tweaks these messages, but it's not important that everything match exactly. We can see, though, that the first problem is that there's no route for the about page. And indeed, that's the case. There is no such route. By the way, you can see how nice it is to use go to anything, this thing I mentioned before, especially in this context where I'm using both sides of the IDE. It's annoying to have to go over here and click around. So it's once you know where things are, it's really easy to navigate your system like this. All right, so let's see if you can guess how to define the route. Again, it's an exact analogy with these guys. Get static pages home, get static pages help. I'm just going to copy and paste, and then just call it about. We're going to add an about page. So let's take a look at that. We can rerun the test. I'm just going to save it to get it to rerun the test. And now there's a new error. It's still red, you can see here, but it's a different error. It says now the action about could not be found for static pages controller. And that's true. There is no such action. We've got def home, def help. Let's put in def about. Define the about action. And now it's still not working, but there is a new problem again, missing template static pages about. So in this context, template means a view. Just look over here. This is in app views static pages. And you can see that there's a view, each for the help page and the home page. So what we need is a view for the about page. There are several ways to create a new file. I showed you one before where I used the touch command to create that initializer. By the way, an initializer, let's see where it lives. It's in config initializers. These are just files that get executed before Rails boots up. So that's why the backtrace silencer is in here. It's just to load that that stuff before Rails starts, or as part of Rails starting. So we could use that touch trick, but actually there's a problem here. If you look at these two tabs, I've got both of them are being used. So ordinarily I would make sure to have at least one terminal window available for issuing commands. But in this case, what I want to do is actually use a different trick. Let's CD here. I got bitten by that a couple times. All right, let's use another method for creating a file. I just right-clicked on that, and I'm going to say new file. Why didn't that work? New file. It's not working. That's weird. There we go. Oh, I see. It's having trouble. Okay, that's the kind of thing that happens sometimes. I don't want that. I want to do this. Ordinarily, it would give you a chance to rename it, but if something weird happens like it just did to me, you can just go down to the rename part of the menu and let's do about.html.erb. Oops. No, just a little hiccup there. It happens sometimes. All right, so that's our about page. Now let's see how we're doing here. Just going to go back to the test and save. And there it worked. Look at that. 3 tests, 3 assertions, 0 failures, 0 errors, 0 skips. We actually won't be using skips in this tutorial, but you can Google around if you're interested. Failures are when something didn't go right with our assertions. Errors are where there's actually an error in the application, like an exception, which is some sort of exceptional behavior, a syntax error, or so on. So that's it. Now we've got a working about page. In fact, let's double check that. If we refresh this, it should give us a non-error, but in fact it's blank. So let's actually fill it in with some content. This is the kind of thing you could test drive if you wanted to, but generally speaking, it's quite brittle to test detailed HTML structure. So I'm just going to say we're not going to bother testing this. So the about page, and let's just put a paragraph. This p tag, as you may have inferred, is a paragraph tag. railstutorial.org. So this is just about this application. The Ruby on Rails tutorial is a book and screencasts, screencast series. To teach web development with Ruby on Rails. Right, this is the sample application for the tutorial. Let's see if that worked. And looks like it's working. Great.